So this week we are going to be writing about one fall day. And so I have already made my organizer here with my beginning, middle. And I do two middles because the middle is one of the longest part of the story. And then the end on this side. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and tell you what my story um, what so remember that when we're planning a story we want to be able to tell each other what our story is going to be from the beginning to the end, so we want to explain. So for this picture right here, I'm talking about how one fall day my sister, her kids, my daughter, and I went to the courthouse museum, and we were so excited to go in. So in Merced there's a courthouse museum, so we went to the courthouse museum. That's the first picture right there. However, if you notice in the second part, the middle, when we walked up to the museum, I noticed that there was a sign on the door said it was closed, and so I felt sad. So I have a sad face right there. And notice that my drawings don't have a lot of detail because these are just a sketch. So it doesn't have to be all nice and colorful because these are just a sketch. Okay, so at the beginning, who can remember what happened at the beginning of my story? My sister, myself, my nieces and nephew, and my daughter went to the courthouse museum. Then we went up the stairs and we noticed that the courthouse museum doors had a sign that said closed. So let me tell you what happened next. So, next, when we came down from the stairs of the courthouse museum, we noticed lots of colorful yellow leaves on the ground of the near a tree, and we decided that we wanted to play with them, and we threw them up in the air and tried catching them, and so we tried catching the ones that were falling from the tree as well. Okay, and then at the very end. Um, So at the very end, my sister said, "They're so pretty, we should take a picture." So we all jumped up in the air, and when she said leaves, we needed to jump up in the air and throw the leaves up, and she was going to take a picture of us. And that was the end of my fall day. So, if you can remember, at the beginning, we went to the courthouse museum with my sister and her kids. Then we went up the stairs, but noticed that it was closed. So we came down and we saw a beautiful tree with lots of beautiful yellow leaves, and we decided to play in them. Finally, my sister decided that we should take a picture. Throwing the leaves up in the air and saying leaves at the same time. Okay, so that is my planning page. So now what you want to do is you want to grab either your blue journal or your yellow journal. And after you have, first you're going to do your planning page. But after you have done your planning page, you're going to use your pictures from here. You're going to take a look at the first picture, and you're going to remember what you were going to say for that first picture, and you're going to write it right here on the first page. Then you're going to look at your second picture right here. You're going to remember what you said about it, and you're going to write it on the second page. Then you're going to look at the third picture. You're going to remember what you said you were going to say for that part, and you're going to write it on the third page. And finally, you are going to look at the last picture, and you're going to remember what you meant to write for that last picture, and you are going to put it on the last page. If you get done, then you may draw a picture, but you do not need to draw the picture in this part since we will be drawing the pictures during our published copy. So here's an example, okay? I'm not going to show you the whole writing because I want you to have time to do it yourself, but we're going to look at the first picture. And I said in the first picture that we arrived at the Courthouse Museum with my sister, her kids, and my daughter. So that's what I'm going to write about in this first example. So as you can tell, I already wrote one fall day, my sister, her kids, my daughter, and I went to the Courthouse Museum. We were so excited to go inside. So that's the beginning of my story, and that goes with the first picture. Then I flipped the page, and now I'm looking at the second part, which is where I said that it was closed. So I have to remember what I said I was going to do for that second part, and I'm going to write it, and I wrote it right there on the second part. However, when we walked up the steps, we saw the sign that said it was closed. I felt sad. We walked all that way for nothing. So that is my second page right there. Okay, and you would keep going with your third page and your fourth page until you are done. So make sure you do that for today, and we will continue our lesson tomorrow. So just to clarify, the only thing you need to do today is do your planner and write the first two pages of your planner. So you're going to do your planner and just write the first two pages that go with this part of the story and this part of the story. We will continue the last two parts of the story on Thursday and Friday. Thank you.